Hey, hi everyone, we are Group 5. I'm Joey, and with me here is Wani, Serena, Adeline, and Nadia. And today we'll be sharing with you about accountants cheating in exam, focusing on the three firms EY, PwC, and KPMG. So, this is an overview of what we'll be sharing with you about in today's video. And let's start off by watching a short video about the summary of three cases.
Okay, do you have the answer to question 24?
Let me check.
A, B? Okay. Do you have the answer to 24?
I think it's like that.
Hey, tell me the answer also.
I didn't like that.
Oh, okay.
They're cheating.
Huh?
So, that will be all for the video, and let me introduce you to the case study facts. So what happened is that accountant cheating has been a persistent issue in the audit industry. In 2022, EY was fined 100 million over exam cheating, making the SEC largest fines against an audit firm. In 2023, PwC faced a 7 million charge for similar misconduct involving its staff in China and Hong Kong. And most recently, in 2024, KPMG Netherlands received a record 35 million fines for widespread exam cheating. So what is the key ethical issue in all these cases? Firstly is the systematic ethical failure. Across all three firms, the unethical behavior was not limited to a few employees or a single office, but it was found across multiple locations, reflecting how widespread and deeply embedded the cheating culture is. And a significant factor that resulted in this systematic ethical failure is the lack of effective ethical leadership. It's the responsibility of the leaders to shape the corporate culture and establish the tone for acceptable behavior within the organizations. However, in this case, the leader failed to do so. In the case of KPMG, senior leader like Mark Hirschbaum either participated in or turned a blind eye to misconduct, demonstrating motivated blindness. This shows that they value personal and corporate gains above the standards expected of them as leader of the firm. This behavior set a negative tone throughout the organization, fostering a culture that ultimately lead to the systematic ethical failure. Another key ethical issue is the widespread cheating by audit professions. This undermines the integrity and trust placed in the accounting professions. Accountants are expected to uphold high standards of honesty, are entrusted with the responsibility of providing accurate and unbiased opinions on financial statements relied upon by clients, regulators, and the public. Cheating not only breaches this trust, but also damages the reputations of the entire auditing industry. Many professionals rationalize their decisions to cheat by focusing on short-term gains or overvaluing outcomes where they give a pass to unethical behavior if the outcome is good. They may believe that maintaining their certifications justify the means, assuming their actions won't significantly impact others. Additionally, peer pressure played a significant role in their decisions to cheat as well. With management involved in and encouraging unethical behavior, individuals may feel pressure to conform, viewing their actions as acceptable if everyone else is doing it. Ultimately, this culture of cheating compromises personal integrity and jeopardizes the trust placed in the auditing profession.
Moving on to management failures, the third ethical issues highlights the management lack of transparency and accountability, particularly in disclosing ongoing cheating and misleading regulators as seen in the cases of EY and KPMG. Both companies face serious allegations when their audit professionals were found cheating on exam, yet their management teams withheld this misconduct, hiding key evidence during investigations. The leadership essentially placed their image above ethical standards and regulatory compliance. This decision reflects a failure to hold themselves accountable, a key aspect of good governance. From a utilitarian perspective, one might argue that the management decision to hide the misconduct was intended to minimize harm by protecting the firm's reputation and preserving client trust. However, this motivated bias backfired. By prioritizing their own interests, the leadership caused greater reputational harm, contradicting the utilitarian perspective principle of minimizing harm. In addition, the KPMG case specifically illustrates a failure in ethical leadership, where senior leaders compromises their objectivity to protect personal gain. Management either ignore initial internal whistleblowing on cheating, or in some cases encourage it, which contributed to a toxic company culture. By misleading regulators and providing untrue representations, management actively chose to disclose the issues despite early knowledge of it. This reveals a serious conflict of interest as these leaders held positions of trust with ethical responsibility and a fiduciary duties to avoid conflict of interest, obligations they failed to meet. On the other hand, PwC case reveals similar ethical issues. Here, widespread cheating involved unauthorized software use and unsure sharing when undetected for years, showing significant gaps in PwC's internal control. This weak oversight fostered an environment where employees felt less accountable for their actions. PwC responded by acknowledging companies' misconduct and implementing forward-looking measures to strengthen internal policies, demonstrating transparency on this issue. Viewed through the utilitarian lens, PwC's decision to address the problem openly and take corrective actions benefit the majority in the long run. This approach helped to restore stakeholder trust, mitigates reputational damage, and reduce negative consequences for the company.
Next, we will be talking about whistleblowing, which is the act of disclosing unethical or illegal activities to an authority capable of addressing this issue. Among the three cases, the misconduct only came to light in KPMG through a whistleblower report. While whistleblowing is often regarded as inherently ethical, it presents an ethical dilemma for many employees, as it may feel like a betrayal of trust, especially if they work closely with the offending party. This sense of loyalty and friendship could lead to feelings of guilt, preventing workers from coming forward. In companies like KPMG, where cheating was normalized and encouraged by senior management, the decision to whistleblow becomes even more complex. A company culture that allows wrongdoings erodes the confidence that whistleblowing will lead to positive change. Instead, employees might worry that speaking up could negatively affect their job security, personal relationships, and the standing within the organization. Thus, individuals must weigh the personal cost of speaking out against the harm in remaining silent, which would explain why the misconduct persisted for so long. Despite KPMG receiving an internal whistleblower report in 2022, the leaders continued to deny and mislead regulators and failed to conduct a thorough investigation. This may have discouraged other potential whistleblowers as it signaled a lack of commitment to addressing ethical breaches. The truth was finally revealed by another internal whistleblower report in 2023, which led key figures to admit their involvement in the misconduct. However, the delay in taking responsibility emphasizes the importance of ensuring that concerns are taken seriously and addressed appropriately. In this case, the firm's initial failure to act diminished the trust in the whistleblowing measures and discouraged others from coming forward. The fifth ethical issue is the role of regulators. When the cheating by audit professionals were uncovered, the regulators penalized the companies with substantial fines. Regulatory bodies have a duty to ensure that auditing firms uphold the law and maintain ethical standards in the auditing profession. Their investigations and disciplinary actions demonstrate a commitment to preserving the integrity of the auditing profession and upholding public trust. From a utilitarian perspective, the outcomes of imposing large fines would lead to the greatest good for the greatest number of people, as it would deter future misconduct, protect public trust, and encourage ethical behaviors across the industry. From a principles-based perspective, the firms have a moral obligation to act ethically. Thus, these fines would hold organizations accountable for their unethical actions, regardless of the reputational and financial harm. Moreover, the issuance of a record fines shows a trend towards stricter enforcement, highlighting the growing recognition of the importance of ethical practices within the auditing profession. Lastly, with KPMG, confirming that it fired several employees in response to the cheating, we will consider the ethical implications of firing employees involved in the cheating scandal. Many employees resorted to cheating because they felt compelled to do so under the pressure of balancing actual client-related responsibilities over dedicating the time to study, prioritizing their work over compliance with exam standards. However, while these factors explain the pressure that they faced, they do not excuse the violation of ethical standards and the firm's code of conduct. In this case, due process helps ensure that KPMG's decision to terminate employees are based on clear, legitimate evidence rather than on arbitrary grounds, supported by evidence gathered through investigations. Given the seriousness of the misconduct in cheating, the termination was justifiable and the due process KPMG followed supports the fairness and legitimacy of terminations. Next, we have to analyze if Mark Hogerboom's dismissal is justifiable. The decision to remove Mark also appears to be justifiable based on his role as a senior leader and the ethical failures under his leadership. By engaging in and covering up the misconduct, he directly violated his responsibilities as well as to uphold the firm's ethical standards. Furthermore, the firm's investigation allowed his actions to be thoroughly reviewed, and the evidence revealed multiple incidents of misconduct. Thus, the severity of his violations, coupled with KPMG's commitment to fairness, further reinforces that both his termination was justified and also appropriate. Next, Stephanie, the CEO of KPMG Netherlands, failed to take action to investigate the internal whistleblower report and also did not correct her claims to the regulators that there were no acts of cheating in the firm. This raises concerns about whether it was justifiable for her to keep her position, highlighting inconsistencies in accountability within the firm. While KPMG might argue she wasn't directly involved in the cheating, her inaction as CEO is equally troubling. This suggests KPMG applies different standards of accountability, which allows senior leaders to avoid repercussions if they are not directly involved. Such double standards could discourage lower-level employees from following ethical guidelines if they see that accountability isn't enforced uniformly. Next, we will be moving on to our solutions. We have identified 4 main solutions for our case. Our first solution is to establish an ethics committee that is entirely independent from the company. Currently, PwC and EY utilize external ethics hotline, which are a reactive solution. This means that they only come into play once a problem has already occurred and been reported. Since this system act after issues arise, their ability to prevent unethical practices before they happen is limited. Meanwhile, KPMG does have an ethics committee, but it being part of the company raises concerns about potential biases and the effectiveness of internal governance, which is seen in the KPMG case where the compliance head himself did not act on the issue despite being aware of it. So to address all these limitations, establishing an independent committee is recommended. This committee will operate autonomously, free from any internal influence to ensure unbiased oversight. It will manage reports of unethical behavior and proactively review the firm's ethical policies to identify risks before they lead to misconduct. Additionally, they will also be responsible for ethics-based performance reviews to evaluate how well both management and employees adhere to internal ethical policies. This affects employees as knowing that an independent body with no internal ties is overseeing these matters. It will deter employees from engaging in unethical behavior due to the increased likelihood of being caught and also penalized. Additionally, it will also affect the company's management as this committee reinforces the principle that ethical compliance is critical at all levels. And leaders who cheat will also face consequences proportionate to their role, which potentially could include dismissal to preserve the integrity of the organization. Our second solution is the revision of training programs. Currently, PwC conducts annual compliance training through online modules. KPMG offers mandatory training for all new hires with biannual refreshers, and EY also provide ethics training through e-learning modules on the EY Virtual Academy, which is specifically designed to offer both technical and soft skills. So despite having all these ethical training programs in place, all companies continue to face challenges of cheating, which suggests that the current training may not be effective. So to strengthen these efforts, training should include interactive elements like real-world simulations and also ethical dilemma scenarios, which is relevant to employees' roles. Companies should also facilitate open discussions on ethical challenges, moving beyond online courses to practical applications. Secondly, increasing the frequency of training can also keep ethical consideration top of mind, address issues promptly, and also allow for employee feedback, which ensures that the training meets the employees' needs. However, training should not just apply to employees. Next slide. Specialized ethical leadership training is essential for leaders as the actions set the organization's ethical tone. This training helps leaders recognize the impact of their behavior, understand how to model integrity, and also make fair decisions. They also handle unethical conduct reports effectively. Knowing how to respond to ethical issues ensures thorough investigations and that proper actions are taken, reinforcing a strong ethical culture.
Moving on, we'll address some recommendations regarding whistleblowing policies. The current policies for whistleblowers are fairly comprehensive and have prompted disclosures of unethical acts, especially in major firms as seen on the slide. However, we have noted that these policies mainly act as preventive measures and don't guarantee elimination of unethical behaviors. Hence, the key issues here lies in the lack of sufficient encouragement for timely whistleblowing, which is critical to prevent the escalation of such acts. Encouraging more employees to speak up could also press management to address their own involvement sooner, as seen in the case of KPMG. This is why we propose a solution that introduces incentives for whistleblowers. One example could be incorporating positive performance reviews, increasing employees' chances for career advancement and recognition. The advantage of introducing such rewards is to promote early whistleblowing, helping to curb unethical acts before they escalate, ultimately reducing the number of employees affected. For example, more employees may feel pressured to act unethically if many around them, including management, are involved, creating a sense of normalcy. Early whistleblowing could prevent these situations from taking a root. Of course, there are potential downsides. Employees might misuse incentives by fabricating reports for personal gain. That's why it's essential for an ethics committee to conduct due diligence, ensuring only genuine whistleblowers receive rewards. Another solution is real-time monitoring of data during internal exams. By implementing AI on the company's laptop, we can analyze employee behavioral patterns to identify irregularities and flag unethical practices early. This solution offers significant benefits, such as early detection of unethical behaviors, reduced reliance on whistleblowers, and prevention of further issues. However, like any solution, it has its own limitations. AI systems may carry biases, which could lead to unfair outcomes. Therefore, it's crucial to ensure that AI tools are developed and implemented ethically. The more autonomy we give AI to monitor behaviors, the more responsibility we have to ensure it's fair, unbiased, and ethical. Therefore, increasing ethical sensitivity to the AI. As for our personal opinions, overall, we feel in terms of culture, the widespread unethical behavior has broke the trust which should have been upheld by industry professionals. With senior leaders' involvement or inaction, it has set a damaging precedent, impacting employees at all levels. Small ethical compromises can easily escalate, undermining core company values and signaling that compliance is for show rather than a true priority. Whilst on character, the profession's trustworthiness ultimately relies on each accountant's character. Robust policies are essential, but the commitment of individuals to uphold ethical principles is crucial to maintain credibility in the accounting field. And that's all from us. Thank you.